Rockland, Westchester. All the information regarding our association can be found at RWISOA.org. We are a NYSOA chapter. All the information regarding NYSOA and how to become a college official can be found on their website, www.nysoa.com. We are sponsored by the NYSOA Foundation Fund. We actually have the chairman with us today. Mark Can happened to be the chairman of the foundation. For referees and chapters, if they would like to contact the foundation for funding for clinics and goodies, please contact Mark or go to the website nysoa.com and look for the foundation link, and there is an email there so you can contact them. Who do we have today with us? Today we have Mark Ann, I just mentioned him. Ben. Ben, how do you pronounce your last name?
Trevino. Or some people say Trevino.
Trevino. All right, so we have Trevino as well, and we have Dan. Dan, what is your? How do you pronounce your last name?
Dan Lukash.
There you go. I don't want to kill your last name. I'm not good with names, man. I'm not good with names. Coach Kyle, right?
Tyler.
Hold on.
Yeah, Tyler Brock.
Yeah, do we have Coach Tyler?
Yes, I am. I'm here.
Very good. And we have Coach Alfio as well.
Yes.
And a last minute a referee who's going to help us out with some of these decisions, Brian Dunn. Brian, you here?
Yep.
Great. So why don't we jump in real quick? That's next week. Just a quick reminder, questions, please send us to the email rwisoa@gmail.com or use the questions session on the webinar. I will be reviewing those, and we'll open up the mic so you can ask those questions live. All right, so without any further interruptions, let's go into today's topic, perception versus reality. And let me have Ben, do me a favor. Can you introduce Coach Tyler, please?
Yeah, I've funny story. I met Tyler, I think 4 years ago at an NAIA finals. His team, he was coaching another. Tyler, what was the name of the team that you were coaching at that point?
I was coaching Union College in southeastern Kentucky. We were in NAIA school.
Yep. And then we got to meet then, and then the next year he was on the men's soccer committee for the NAIA, participating at the tournament. Just kind of as the third party running the tournament. So we got to talk and really made a relationship then. But Tyler is probably an hour east of me in Lima, Ohio, and just a great supporter of referees and just a really good guy to talk soccer with, the X's and O's. And he's also the men's NAIA soccer chair for this year. Tyler Brock from the University of Northwestern Ohio.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you for accepting the invitation. It's important for us to see everybody's side of the game. Everybody has a role, an important role, and we all need to understand what their roles are. And that's the only way we can become better as coaches, as referees, and as players. So thank you for being here. We also have. Thank you. We also have Alfio. I'm going to let him pronounce his last name. How do you pronounce your last name, Alfio?
Carrabotta. Carrabotta. Well, as they say, Carrabotta.
Carrabotta. That's what I was going to say, but I don't want to put you in the spot.
All good. It's all good. It's all good.
So Alfio actually has been coaching, was coaching high school, local high school for over 30 years. How long exactly, Alfio?
35 years.
35 years.
Yeah.
35 years, high school varsity coach, and he moved up to the junior college ranks now. Now he's the coach for one of the local junior colleges, the Westchester Community College, second season, correct? Or third season? I don't know.
First, going to the third season, yes.
Going to the third season. And so thank you for accepting the invitation, Alfio. The reason why I asked both coaches to come in after having a conversation with Ben and everyone else is to, we can always contact the Division I NCAA coach, right? Women and men, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, in some Division IIs, and have a healthy soccer conversation when it comes to refereeing. Well, in reality is that a good 75+% of the games that NYSOA referees do referee are either NAIA games or junior college or NCAA Division III, right? That's the majority of their games. And then they start moving up, obviously, start doing some top level D2s and then D1. But it takes a while before you get to that level. And the reality is that there are big differences between the divisions and the different sanctioning, like the NJ CAA, the junior college, and the NAIA. It's not so much the level of, it could be sometimes the level of skills, right? But the most important thing is we shouldn't focus so much on that. We should focus more on the level of understanding and the level of acceptance. At a Division I, if you make the proper call, yes, they're going to complain. It's passion, it's the game, it's soccer. That's what it's all about. But the level of acceptance is very high, very close to an MLS match, right? And when there are actually going to be consequences if they don't behave. Now, once you start going down the ladder, down the levels, the level of acceptance is not so much there, right? So we as referees, we need to adjust the way we're refereeing games. If today I'm refereeing a D1 game, tomorrow a junior college game, I cannot referee the game the same way. I need to manage the games differently. And this is why we invite you, so we can have your side of the soccer, your side of the game. So thank you again for accepting the invitation. So as we can all see in this picture here, right, we're looking at a picture, right? And yet we can have two different sizes, right? Two different opinions, two different perceptions. It's like any game. Here's the coach's view, right? Coaches, do we have a red card? Do we have a denied scoring opportunity? And do we have a penalty? Coach's view says yes. We have a 1, 2, and 3, right? While the referee's view, he has an A, B, C, and D, which is a completely different reality, right? So we're seeing the same play from two different perspectives, right? Under different perception, right? And yet we need to manage it. And yet we need to make a decision, right? So we as referees, let's see if by the end of the session, we can get some tips from the professional referees and the coaches and how to manage the situations where, yes, we're the referees and we do need to make this decision. At the same time, let's not forget that the coaches and the players saw something different. And sometimes we make the wrong decision, right? And sometimes we do make the right decision. But even though we make the right decision, we still need to communicate. We still need to manage, right? And it's all about perception. What this clinic is all about. Any questions? All right, so we're just going to leave this up there for everybody to read. Maybe Ben, you want to read it?
Oh, you picked the wrong guy. Perception is not reality, but admittedly, perception can become a person's reality because perception has the potential influence on how we look at reality. Our perceptions influence how we focus on, process, remember, interpret, understand, synthesize, decide about, and act on reality.
All right, so let's not forget that perception, it is not reality, but it can turn into somebody's reality, right? They're being guided by the perception, and they coming up with their own reality. So we need to keep that in mind when we referee in our games. right? So let's say we have this AR, right? Where on the final 5 seconds of the game, the winning goal is taken away from an offside call made by this AR that worked 90 minutes, right? I'm gonna ask Coach Alfio, can you give me 3 words, your words, on how to describe this referee? Don't be afraid. We're not here to judge. We're here to learn. So feel free.
I guess the first one comes careless. It seems to be uninvolved in the situation at all. Excuse me.
All right. And how about Coach Tyler? Can you give me a couple of words to describe this referee that worked your game for 90 minutes and he's about to take that winning goal away from you?
Just looking at this photo,
Yes.
disinterested. Body language just looks like he's ready to get in his car and go home already. And my dad from '86 wants his shorts back. So, you know. I mean,
1986 right there, right?
absolutely. So, just disinterested. Body language is kind of something, you know.
We have someone's dog, and someone's dog is not happy.
My wife just came home. I'm sorry. All 3 of them know she's here.
That's Brian Dunn, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to mute him.
That's me on the line right there, back when I was first starting.
All right, so let's go back to our session. So yeah, we got 2 different coaches from 2 different parts of the country, coaching teams from 2 different conferences, 2 different, completely different sanctioning bodies, but yet still soccer, right? Same game. And if we get this referee, if they get this referee in both games, I don't think they're gonna believe his decisions. And we agree to that, right?
Yeah, you know, and I'd also pose in there also to the referees when, like, we have to think as if that's a player that it looks like that with 10 seconds left in the game and it's a tight game, like, we need to start understanding what is going through that mind. And that's what coaches do. Like on that last clip, they look at how much is involved in that game with 7 seconds and they see that demeanor. Even if you're in position, that demeanor leads to uncertainty. That look does.
Coach Tyler, any comments? Any extra comments? Any other comments?
No, not at all. I mean, I agree 100%. And I would hope Ben would maybe agree with me a little bit on this. I try and be a little different when I coach matches, because for me, coaching my players is not just about winning games. It's about growing men and, you know, having role models. I got 3 daughters that are in the stands, and they're 5, 6, and 10. And for me, you know, I can't stand players that dive. That's why I don't have too many Brazilians. You know, I don't like kids that the ball obviously goes off on them and they turn around and lift their hand up and go, "Oh, it's our ball." I can't stand that, because when it's time for you to actually address an official about a call, he's already heard you and seen him lie to you 7 times. He ain't gonna believe you now when you really have a fact to point out. You know, so for me, you know, it's something that, you know, my players, there's a lot of times I'll sit there and watch our team. Yeah, it's a questionable penalty kick. My entire, you know, bench jumps up and starts yelling and screaming, but I'm turning around telling them to shut up, because I look at my assistant going, I think we fouled him. I think that's a bid. We ain't got nothing to yell at on this one, even though I want to, you know, and you know, sometimes I'll stand up and just take one just to get my players to calm down. I've even had an official come over and talk to me and say, "Look, I agree with your call. I'm just yelling at you so you don't hear the 27 kids behind me yelling at you. And now that I'm up here, they're going to shut up. So just, if you need to give me a yellow, go ahead and give me a yellow. Go back out there. I thought your call was just justified." So, but that's the thing. I try and be very fair about things that I'm given and other things. I just want a fair game. That's it. I don't want any extra calls. I don't want any extra fouls. I don't want anything. However the game plays out, let's play it out that way. And let's just be honest about exactly everything that happens. So that's kind of my thing.
And just to piggyback on that is, as a player or as a referee, having that type of honesty is a building block to developing higher level thought process, decision making, to be honest with ourselves as coaches, referees, players, administrators. That's the building blocks of getting better.
Definitely. And we as referees, we need to somewhat learn how to read coaches right from the beginning of the game when we introduce ourselves. Because if I have Coach Tyler with us refereeing his game, I know he's open to communication, and for me, it's going to be an easier game, a much easier game than someone who's going to be creating conflict throughout the whole match. Right, and that means that we need to referee the game completely different, depending on the coach, depending on the game, right? So that's important. Communication is a key word, and we're gonna keep coming back to that because it's all about communication. Not so much what we say, but how we say it, right? Like now we're gonna play a clip where I believe Coach Tyler was involved with. Am I correct?
Ruining my day, but go right ahead.
So we have 7 seconds. We have 18 seconds left now, right? And 0-1 game, 1-0 game.
Tyler, you wanna lead us into this?
Yeah. Here's the situation. We have University of Northwestern Ohio, who's I took this job 3 years ago. They've been around about 7 years, but they're perennially top 10 in the country. Indiana Tech is in our conference. They're up 1-0. We're both tied for first right now at this point. And this goal goes in with 7 seconds left. So we're down 1-0 at our place. Indiana Tech scored a goal. I think we probably outshot them. I think it's like 16-7 or 16-6 in this game. You see my goalkeeper jumping on a guy because he was credited for the goal. But with 7 seconds left, so they signal for the goal. And then the center official looks over, and the assistant referee hasn't run back up the side of the field yet. He's kind of standing there, and I even looked over, and he kind of looks lost a little bit. And the center official runs over and goes, "I just signaled for a goal. Were you not? What's going on?" And he goes, "I'm not sure if it was a goal or not, or if there was offside." So the thing about this video, this video is 2 minutes and 45 seconds. What you don't see is that this official took 35 minutes to decide this. He went up into our press box, watched the video on 3 separate occasions, and then this is the 3rd time he comes down to speak to us and say, "Okay, I've made my decision." The first 2 times he said, "I stand by my goal. I stand by my decision. It was a goal." But he took 35 minutes, and then the 3rd time he came down, he goes, "I looked at it the 3rd time, and your goalkeeper's in an offsides position, so it's going to be a goal kick coming out. We're taking the goal away."
And do you guys have replay set up at your facility?
Set up on the field. So when I ran down, I said, "Sir, what's going on?" Right as he was speaking to the linesman, I tried to give him about 10 yards so they could speak, and I wasn't trying to infringe too much, but I was trying to see what's the conversation about. I said, "Sir, what's going on?" He goes, "He doesn't know if a goal was scored." I said, "Well, it was obviously scored. It went into the goal, and you signaled it a goal." He goes, "Yes, but he thinks he might be offsides, and he doesn't know if there was a foul." And he goes, "I'm going to check VAR." I said, "You can't do that, because I was told at the beginning of the year that both teams must agree at any time." And I said, "And it has to be on the field level, and we don't have it on the field level." He goes, "No, I can check VAR whenever I want, as long as you have a video camera that is available." I said, "Well, the stuff is not on the field, and I was told you can't check it if it's not on the field." He said, "Well, you can check it if it's in the press box, and the press box is next to the field, so I'm going up there to check it." So me and John Dunn's the coach at Indiana Tech, a great friend of mine, Him and me literally stood right there where you see this video coming from. We look right up to where you see this camera. They have a coach's box up there, but they went over and they stood over top of the camera screen for about 10 minutes. Then they went back into a changing room that's right back there. They come back out. They watch it again for about another 5 or 8 minutes. Then they go back in again. Then they come back out for another 5 or 8 minutes. After that, I'm looking and it's been 32 minutes. And me and John are going, you got to be kidding me. So, he comes down and John's like, well, he called it a goal. There's no way he can see any of this prior to all this stuff going on. It's got to be a goal. So he goes, boys, stay ready. He comes down. He goes, after the third time I viewed it, I decided that he was offsides. I said, well, what did you decide the first two? And he was like, that it was a goal. I said, so you decided the goal 2 times and it wasn't a goal once. So now you're going with it's not a goal once because that was your most recent. Well, obviously it's inconclusive, and that means your official ruling has to stand. So we actually took this to the national. We appealed this, and they actually stood for the appeal, and then the game had to be replayed. This was a conference match for first place, and we were already 2/3 of the way through our season. Like, we both have already played 9 games in a league of 12 or 13 matches. So we had to play an entire extra match. They said the game was a 1-1 draw, still with 7 seconds to be remaining and played. The game was not completed, so then we would have to go through and play the game again in its entirety. And we had to mash this game into the middle of a week, play an extra 90 minutes. Both teams got killed. It was a barn burner again. So I mean, all the extras that went into it, from athletic directors having to pay for officials and travel again and food again and find a date again to prepare for another game again, to play the same team again. There was all these things that happened that was just crazy. And we didn't know for about 4 days that the appeal, that they stood with us. So we were still playing games wondering, okay, are we in second place or third place, or are we still tied for first and we get to play this one over? So that was ours. And I'll be honest with you, the officiating is physical. That game was, as being a conference game. Both of us were nationally ranked. I think we were number 11 in the country, and I think they were like 24 or 23. It was a huge match, and I thought the officiating was pretty awesome and pretty great. He handled it great up to that last point. And then all that stuff happened that you saw in the video. 7 seconds left, that goal goes in.
And this kind of just goes back onto last week. We had mental tricks that we go into, mental traps, and this one, I think when we replay the video, replay wasn't even available at the school. And not that going into this year, not that we need to notify, but it's a good rule of thumb, if replay is available, that we need to make sure that both coaches know that we're using it, but we're not required to. But as a rule of thumb, it's kind of nice just to let everybody know that we're on the same page. And Tyler, you were just in shock when they found out that he said he was going upstairs to do a replay, I'm sure.
Yeah, because we always do a kickoff tournament at the beginning of the year where, we're always typically a top 10, top 15 team in the country, NAIA, every year, and we're always one of the favorites to kind of go make a push. So we always try and invite 3 other teams that are top 10, top 15 too, and kind of do like a super kickoff weekend. So, we'll bring in a Baker or a Kaiser, Lindsey Wilson, a Rio Grande, Central Methodist, Vanguard, those big name NAIA schools. And when we got there, we were all excited that season. And me and Nate Hauser, I'm the president of the NAIA Men's Leadership Committee. Nate is the past president. We're standing there. We look at the officials and we said, hey, we got VAR this year. This is going to be exciting and fun. And the officials go, oh, no, it's not on the field level, so you can't use it. And you guys got to, we all have to comply as coaches and officials before the game starts that it's going to be used. I said, well, I'm fine if that. He goes, no, you don't even have the capabilities here. You can't do it. It's not on the field. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's fine. So I went the whole season thinking we couldn't do VAR. And he turns around and looks at me. I said, did you call a goal? He goes, I did. He goes, but he's unsure of if it is. I said, well, you've already called it. And the ball went in the back of the net. I said, I used to teach a coaching soccer class. I don't think VAR can be used for anything other than basically identification on most purposes. If a ball goes in or not, I said, it can't be used to question offsides. It can't be used to question this, that, or the other. He goes, no, it can be checked. I can check and see if a goal was scored. And if he's offsides, then it doesn't count. And he goes, I'm checking VAR. And the thing was, is when he came down after it, I looked right at him. I said, do me a favor. Look me in this. He goes, Tyler, I'm sorry. We've called the goal back. It's a goal kick. The goal will not stand. And Dunn ran away as quick as he could. Coach Dunn at Tech, he was done with the conversation as soon as he heard that. He wanted them to kick the ball, and he wanted to get in the parking lot, go home as fast as possible. So I look at him. I said, you're telling me right now, I said, my office is literally 20 feet from here. I said, I am a very honest coach. You're telling me right now, I will go up to my office. I will watch this, and it will be no questions asked. My goalkeeper is offsides, and he was in the offsides position, and this goal should not be allowed. Because I'm an honest coach, and I will look at that. Are you telling me that? And he would not answer the question. I said, you're telling me right now, still inconclusive in your head if it's a goal or not. I said, so tell me that yes, Tyler, when you go watch it, you will agree with me. I said, if I agree with you on this, that's fine. So I'm going to go watch this in 20 seconds, and I'm going to agree with you. And he just looked at me, and he closed his eyes, and he looked down at the ground. I said, you can't even agree with me on that.
So let me bring up Brian. Brian, you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Brian, let's make this from the referee's point of view. I don't know if you can see the video. I'm going to replay it again. 7 seconds left.
Yeah,
right?
It gets with about 9. It gets scored with about 7.
So give me how can we make this better, Brian?
Well, the one thing is the referee got surprised. The referee wasn't ready for that corner kick. When I look at it, he was walking in to talk to someone, and a ball kid quickly put that ball down, and he wasn't ready for that white player to kick the ball. So it seemed like when you talk about in that last one with the AR, you see how he's putting it down, now he's trying to back out. He wasn't ready for it. He wasn't in a position to see. So knowing that it's a 1-0 game, 18 seconds left, this referee has to heighten his awareness to where there's 13, 14 players standing around the goalkeeper, and he's backing out instead of getting himself into a better position to see. And now as you see him trying to look over at his AR, he's looking directly into the sun as well, which makes it even harder to see this. So one, to me, was this, he wasn't ready. His body language showed that he wasn't ready for the corner. He looked like he was also checked out with 18 seconds left in the game. But as far as like you were saying, or the coaches were saying, for me, I've had a similar situation, but I would not have gone to the video review. One, because it's not something that's checkable. I would have spoken to my AR as the referee is running over as he's doing. He runs over to talk to him. I'd have a conversation with my AR. And if we couldn't come to an agreement, the call on the field would have to have stood on this. That's the only, you can see all of the orange are following the referee over there. Oh, they backed off. That was good. So they had a nice time to talk, those two, and get to the bottom of it. It should have been settled on the field, whether this was an on or off or a good goal or not a good goal.
And that was when he was saying, I'm going to go check. He even stopped to speak to me and Coach Dunn over at Tech to tell us what he was doing, which he was very professional about that. But I said, what are you checking for exactly? And he goes, I'm checking to see if it's offsides. I said, okay, you're telling me you're going to look at this camera from 60 yards away at midfield, stories high, with 16 people standing on a goal line if one person is offsides? He goes, yes. I said, good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, there's no way, even if I went to look at this, there's no way I could see that this is.
That was my point. That was my point. He came back and he goes, the third time we sat down and watched it. I said, the third time, you've been up there for 30 minutes. I said, you watched it probably 3 times in the first 10 seconds. And I said, you had to just watch that 100 times. He goes, yeah, we watched it repeatedly. And he goes, by the last one, I decided your goalkeeper was in an offsides position. I said, you can't tell that from that video. I said, and second, that's not even a question you can ask of the video. And that was where, when we got the appeal to come back, it said that is not something you can do. It is used for 4 things: to ID a player during a fight, to ID a player during a yellow card, to ID players and people involved with skirmishes and stuff like that. And then I think to ID when players are scoring goals, I believe.
It's in
when
and out.
goal
Your
scoring
question is in and out.
So I was like, they're all identification stuff. You can't question whether somebody was offsides and check it or whatever. But like I said, here we are again talking about it, learning.
So
So
yeah,
let me
and I
let me
think
come in real quick. Just one quick thing here. The perception from the away team. Tyler, you were the away team or the home team?
I was the light gray jerseys. They almost look a white or a dirty white. Yeah, it's gray, black, gray. That is my team. And then we were home. That's our pitch.
You were home.
And then
So the perception here, after he makes the decision, was even though you didn't like the decision, right? You were still question the decision, but yet somehow, right? You kind of believe him, right? You had this referee in the past, right?
Oh, sorry. Correct. I've had this official in the past, and when I saw him there, I was excited he was there doing the game. I mean, I was like, okay, we got a good official for this match. This game's going to be intense, and we need a good official. This is great that we have him here. And like I said, he did a great job up to this point. But as soon as he said, I can check it whenever I want, I looked at him. I said, no, you cannot. I said, we don't have it on the field. And I was told it has to be on the field. And that's not even a questionable offense that you're checking if you're checking to see if he's offside. He goes, I can check anything I want with VAR. That's what it's there for, to make sure I get the call right. And then he ran up.
All right, just to make perfect point there. You as a coach, you had these referees in the past, and they've been doing, they've been refereeing well. They're good referees. So you didn't have, even though you were not happy with the decision, you kind of believed the decision was the right decision somehow because of the perception, the fact that you had them in the past, and they were doing good stuff in the past. Maybe throughout the whole game, they were good referees, made good decisions. So now you're questioning yourself, is this a new reality now, right? That decision was the correct decision. Maybe I was looking at the game in a different way. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, right?
Yep.
So just to clarify a couple of things, technical things. Yes, the goalkeeper was in an offside position when the ball came in, and someone can say that he became involved with active play. He became involved with active play by interfering with the opponent by coming from the offside position. But the problem is, it is not legal to use video review for that offense. All right, so we need to make this clear that number one, it should have been reviewed on the field with the AR. Right, you cannot use video review for this play. If it was a different play, a goal or no goal situation, right, then that is a different story. That could be reviewed, but only if the equipment was already available at the beginning of the game, and the referee checked the equipment, and he agreed he was going to be using the equipment. As long as the equipment is somehow between the two benches and near the halfway line, right, and between the benches. It cannot be, a block away. It cannot be 50 yards away.
Just so you know, our equipment, we got a press box right between the two dugouts. But when he went up to go check it out, the announcer that was doing the game live, the guy that was on the camera, our stat people literally had to turn the computer on and then go into our on-demand on our school website, fast-forwarded it all the way to where he was, and then look at it there.
All right. So
that's how it was done. I asked him up there. I said, "How did he check this?" And they said, "Oh, he got on the computer and we fast-forwarded it all the way up to where it was from the on-demand section, and he just kept rewinding it and looking at it repeatedly."
So to learn from this video, a couple of things. One, you as a referee, if you're not sure, stop the clock, communicate with the players, all the players on the field, because they're all celebrating. So right now you need to blow the whistle multiple times. Tell everybody to slow down. You need to check this. All right? So don't get anybody excited, overexcited. Go check with your AR, and you got to make the decision on the field. And that's the end of it. Anything else that you want to add, Brian?
No, and if your AR comes to you and says, I think I'm not 100% sure, then you have to allow the goal. You can't disallow a goal for an I think. So if you're an AR, you need to be confident. You know, it's not like I thought I saw something or it's possible. It either is or isn't. If you don't know 100%, then you can't give the information and the goal would have to stand. If you're 100% he's offside, then you tell him, I'm 100% sure the goalkeeper was in offside position. He interfered. We have to disallow the goal, and you have to stand by your decision on the field.
And it's all about communicating. Make sure that we do the communication properly. And since we stopped the clock, why don't we, and this is a college venue, why don't we just take an extra, 5-10 seconds and walk over to the coaches and explain the decision real quick, and then restart the game. How would you feel about that, Coach Tyler?
I mean, it's fine. I've had officials in other situations. I'd ask them a question, say, "Can you give me an explanation?" And I'd have an official literally look at me and go, "Coach, I missed it. I didn't see it." And I said, "Okay, no problem. You're not. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect as a coach, and you guys aren't perfect as officials. I feel that officials are doing the best job they do. I mean, if this official comes to our game again next year, I've had 99%, rapport with him over 3 years that I've been up here at UNOH. I know he's probably going to do another great match. I just hope he doesn't want to use a VAR again."
And I don't think he would.
Yeah.
Why don't we move? Let's go to the next clip here, and this has to do with Alfio's one of Alfio's games. We're gonna play it. Do we still have you, Alfio?
Yes.
I know the internet's been cuckoo. So let's play this. This is a junior college game. The game just started like 30 seconds ago. So within 25 seconds, we have our first foul, right?
Yep.
And we're just going to play it now. And you do know these officials for a long time. You were actually happy to see the officials.
Yes.
Right? All right, so we're just going to post it right here. And let's get your opinion on this. What was going through your head right here?
Well, if I could touch back a little bit with the other scenario before, with the coach, with the VAR situation, I think consistency is one of the key components that we all looking for throughout the game. Obviously, even with the VAR scenario there, if there's a consistent that has to be used, let's use it. If not, let's not use it. In this situation, as you said, Alex, this is literally the first 35, 45 minutes of the game. And there's a clear breakaway. I think the foul, not only the clear breakaway, the one-on-one situation, the foul is such a vicious foul. If you, replay it, you'll see the guy really jumping both feet straight up. I thought it was definitely a red card. And I saw the linesman, which right away pick up his flag and signal the officials. And instead of having a red card, they just simply give him a yellow card. And again, going back to the consistency and looking for something that's either in the beginning of the game or the last 8 seconds of the game, that's got to be called consistency, either one way or the other. So for me, it was, I don't know, he was being very soft, maybe because, again, the first 45 minutes of the game, 45 seconds of the game, he felt that that could be a big impact into the outcome. We happened to lose this game 1-0. So it just, I felt kind of like slighted because he didn't call what seemed to be a obvious red card situation. So again, to me it was, and again, the guy, I have a lot of respect for this official. Again, I don't know what was going through his head. His communication with me was very blunt, like, I didn't think so. I don't, so it appeared that maybe he missed the whole, what really the play seemed to be.
All right. So, and when you were told what was called, right? You were told that decision was a yellow card, and even though you were upset, you didn't continue yelling. You didn't take over the game. You weren't dissenting, and you weren't being disrespectful throughout the game. You actually accepted it because it came from someone that you knew. You knew the crew, right?
Like I said, there's a lot of respect, and again, everybody, officials are human, and we all make mistakes. His perception could have been that maybe he didn't see the man, the opponent jumped the way he jumped. Maybe he thought it was not a last man. I just felt like from my angle, I saw a different version from maybe what he saw, and I thought it warned more of a warned more of a red card than a yellow card. So yeah, when he came to me, he just like he explained, and I accepted it. I mean, at this point, there's no point. What else can I say? You blew it. I just accepted it, and let's move on. And like again, we had a lot to play for. It was the first 45 seconds. Let's move on. Let's keep on playing.
All right. Before I bring in Brian to discuss the technical aspect of the play, let me ask you. Excuse me. Let me ask you a question. Remember that picture of that AR at the beginning of the session? If that was the referee, would you behave differently?
Are you asking me, Alex?
Yes. Yes, I'm asking you. Yes.
Probably, because again, if the demeanor of the official, the way his body language, the way it seems to the way he's going in that particular situation, his body language said it all. He seemed to be careless. He seemed to be didn't want to be there. Yeah, I probably would have taken a different approach to it. But again, out of respect from what I know, the gentleman, I just took his word, and let's move on. Yeah, if the official was not demeanor was different, I probably would have been a different situation. I think the other thing is that it's just like I said, first of all, we all human, we all make mistakes, and we have to come to an understanding that look, we got into this. I know I did. I got into this sport because of passion. I rooted for my team as a fan, and again, we know that when you root for a team, it seemed to the other teams really you don't care for it. You kind of don't support them. And I'm rooting for my team here, and I want to see the right thing done for my team. So obviously, like I'm saying, is that I want to see it done right way because maybe it's my team. I wanted to get it done, see it the way I see it.
Let me bring Brian in. Brian.
Yes, sir.
I posted, can you see the video where I posted?
Yeah, I see it.
We have a typical counterattack, right?
Yep.
Where the referee got caught on the original foul, the first foul, right?
Yep.
And now we have these kids. You know how it is. They get younger and younger. We get older and older.
Correct.
Right? And can we describe the play from here?
Can you go back about 3 seconds? Perfect, right there. So to me, this is, and I'm getting older myself, and my body's starting to deteriorate. I'm not as fast as these guys. I'm fast still, but not as fast. When I see this position, this ball is being spread out wide, and White is obviously going to get this ball, and is going to have zero pressure on them. I would not be standing still. You have to read the game and understand that with that touch, he's most likely going to be playing that ball up front. He should have been starting his run right now and at least getting to even with those other two players that are about 5-6 yards up ahead of him. At this point, he should be trying to get in front of them. That would have closed some of the space to get him. Now as you transition forward, you can play it from here, Rich, if you want. See, he's still walking. Now as he starts to sprint, now if you watch and stop. Oh, one more second. I want to see him cut into the film. See, when you see his angle he's taking, and this is the point that the coach was kind of saying, the angle that the coach was looking at it, he could see kind of where the contact was, as well as where the distance between those players were. But this referee was trying to catch up on space and took a direct straight line and was running directly behind the two players. So it's a little bit more difficult. The angle that the referee took to make up space doesn't afford him the best opportunity to see, one, how bad that challenge was. And since he was concentrating on running as fast, most likely did not make the connection to how far the player to the right was, whether he was able to get involved on a dog-so situation. So for me, when I'm looking at this, I feel bad for you, coach, because this is, for me, 100% dog-so. The guy in the middle of the field is 10 to 12 yards away, and there's no way he would have closed that space down before White would have went one-on-one with the goalkeeper. So for me, I definitely have a red card dog-so on this. And as far as the other challenge, it's a borderline. Like you were saying, it's a red card no matter what. I do have a borderline on it because he kind of sits on the guy's Achilles.
Right.
He kind of sits on it. The swinging portion is not. He makes a little bit of contact with the side of the leg, but then he sits on the guy's leg.
No,
So
from a close up, you see him literally jumping both feet straight up.
yes,
So I mean, it could have really injured the player there. Besides a tackle from behind, to me, a vicious tackle. I see definitely a breakaway last man. So, and then in that situation, you see the linesman also raising his flag. He could have very well approached the linesman and get his opinion as well to see what maybe if he missed it, maybe the linesman could have given his point of view.
I was just going to say 100%. And in a play like that, if you are a linesman on this and you have the depth perception to see that you thought it was a dog-so, the clock is stopped because a card was issued. Be bold enough to call the referee over and ask him if he thought of dog-so on that situation. And as an AR, and like Coach said, the AR called the foul immediately as soon as the contact was made. He's looking straight down the line at it and can see he has a bigger piece of the puzzle with last man. So this is a good spot where he could have gone over and asked him and said, you know, or the AR could have put his flag up, called the ref over and said, look, I had dog-so. Were you thinking it at all? What did you have from your angle? It takes 10, 15 seconds. Clock is stopped already. It is a big decision, and sometimes referees don't want to make that big decision early in the match because they think they're going to affect the game. But by not giving the card, they did affect the game.
Yeah, well, that's what I said consistently. If this foul was somehow a different point of the game, it would have probably been a different outcome. Maybe. Yes. I'm not sure. Again, speculating.
So,
you know.
A point that I want to make before we jump into the next video, how important it is, the way you present yourself as a crew before the game, during the game, and after the game. If this is just the beginning of the game, right? 45 seconds in. But the decision is not one that where now the card is going to be shown. It's going to be the wrong card. We all agree with that. But let's look at the players reaction, right? Are they expecting a red card? Maybe, right? But the perception is that this crew knows what it's doing, okay? So it is the wrong reality, right? But yet they're accepting the decision. Even the coach, he wasn't happy. The coach happened to be back here, right? The AR had a couple of words. The AR let him say some things back there. He did not approach him right away. And then they had a couple of quick words, and then the coach moved back. Why is that? Again, let's go back to the first picture. If you're that type of referee, you don't care, right? You're going to have a problem. You bringing in your own problem. It's all about perception. Here, the crew was looked as a professional crew. They trust the crew, right? It was an early decision. Yes, it is the wrong decision, right? It could have been done better, right? That's for us to get better. But yet, the decision, after the decision was made, right, they accepted the decision in a different way they would have accepted it if you were not presenting yourself as a professional referee. If you were just laid back, lazy, right? Even with the uniforms, if you're wearing an old uniform, they're not going to trust your word. They're going to look at you as lazy, as cheap, right? So let's keep that in mind. Anybody else wants to say a couple of words about this video before we move on to the next one?
Yes, Rich, this is Dan. Got one comment.
Go ahead, Dan.
To kind what Brian said about the earlier video where the referee wasn't ready for the play at the end of the game, sometimes as referees, teams are warming up 45 minutes, they're full speed, they have their heart rate up, ready to go 100%. I don't know what this referee crew, did they warm up? Were they ready? Sometimes we're lazy and we go, oh, well, I'll work myself into this game as it gets going. And sometimes that early start, the players are already going. So you need to be ready at the beginning of the game as well as at the very end of the game. Thank you.
Correct. Especially when the first foul was within 17 seconds into the game. So that tells you what kind of game you're going to be refereeing today. So that should be the wake-up call. It took a little while for the referee crew to get there, but what saved them from a bigger controversy and more conflict is the fact that they were perceived as good referees. They have a history, and they believed the referee crew, and they were able to survive that play without any further problems. So let's look at this clip real quick. All right, I'm just going to post it right here. I'm going to ask Coach Tyler, what do you think about that play as a coach? It happens right in front of the benches. What are you expecting from the referee crew?
I'll be honest. I mean, to me, it kind of looked like his forearm went straight into the back of his neck, and that would be for me right off the bat. I mean, it was, you could tell it was more of a retaliatory type of foul, and you know, he lost the ball a second ago. They come back down and he comes across. Now I can't tell if this is necessarily the kid that lost the ball further down the pitch and he tracked back, or if this was a midfielder coming through the midfield that was just, you know, upset about the play. But I mean, you could tell he wasn't going after the ball. He was upset about what was going on. You know, I thought as soon as I saw it when I watched it earlier, when it was on the email, I thought for sure, you know, okay, this guy's getting a card. I don't know necessarily from my perspective right here, my advantage right here, was it a red card? But I thought for sure he'd probably get a yellow.
How about you, Alfio? What do you think about this play from your side as a coach? If this was one of your players.
Besides him just also kicking the ball at the end, it's just like I saw the video with the email that you sent, and just the demeanor of the referee. He didn't even care. He didn't even look at the young man on the floor. Wants to see how's he doing. So he really, if you keep following the video The young man is on the floor with the trainer, I'm assuming. The referee never once consults, never looks over the young man, what happened to him or whatsoever. The foul obviously warranted definitely a card. Not only the foul, and then the center just kicking the ball away. So right there, it just like, I have no words. What is this referee thinking? And, you know, I know I did see the video. This is the same young man that lost the ball, and he came back as a retaliation to forearm the other young man and then kicking the ball away. So I could understand his frustration. Maybe he got fouled, but definitely warrant a sanction, a yellow card for first with the foul and then kicking the ball away. So kind of like the action speaks for itself. And the referee, as I said, he doesn't seem to care one bit about the young man on the floor, what's going on with them.
All right, let me bring up Brian. Brian, do we have you?
Yeah, sorry, I muted myself because my dog came in the room. We talked about this in week 1, and we talked about, you know, you call the simple things, the obvious things, and it makes your game so much easier. It obviously, the first one, maybe at a Division I or a pro level, maybe you can let that go as an accepted contact. But that's, I forgot which coach said it, but when it first started, there's a clear forearm in the back of the guy's shoulders when he's running at full speed. When you're running at full speed, it doesn't take much to knock you off the ball. So call the simple ones. Yes, you don't want to give a cheap free kick from 25 yards out, but there's clearly a push in that guy's back. It knocks him off the ball. If you call that simple one, your whole game is easy. Now you let it go. This guy runs 35 yards and throws an elbow into the back of a neck of another player who's not even involved. He's just a helpless, innocent victim here, right? The elbow here goes right into the back of his neck. Boom. That's a concussion. I mean, that's a clear forearm, hard to soft, no protection. It's a straight red card any day of the week. So you went from a simple foul to now you should have a red card or a double yellow, one for the foul and one for kicking the ball away. Either way, this player's frustrations got to him and he should be dealt with. And that comes from a referee making in my opinion, a simple mistake when it started by not calling the simple fouls. Right? You get the easy ones, the game goes easy. Miss the easy ones, the games get harder.
So we do have a concussion. Yes, I actually know about this game. We do have a concussion. The offense by itself, you're looking at violent behavior right here. All right, it's an elbow to the back of the head. Right, that's unacceptable. And plus a concussion. The player was not able to come back. So that's an easy red right there. I can understand if you had a bad angle, right? The referee had a bad angle. He was looking through players. The AR was looking through players. So I can give you the benefit of the doubt and give a yellow, right, with a strong talk. But not giving anything, I think that's a problem. And sometimes perception has not so much to do by the way we dressed and our nonverbals. Sometimes it had to do with the way you behave while you're making your decisions. Like the coaches mentioned it before, the kind of attitude like, I don't want to be here. I'm a better referee than this game. I shouldn't be here. Somebody else should have this game, right? That's creating the wrong perception. And the good thing here is that both coaches happen to know the referee and very well, and that kind of helps, right? But being that said, still the decision was not the right decision, and so we as referees, we need to understand that sometimes, even though we may think that we're doing the right thing, the way we communicate and we expressing ourselves is not the right way. And just because coaches aren't complaining and jumping up and down, which I was expecting to see some of that, but I didn't, then that not necessarily means that you make the right decision, right? as a matter of fact, like Brian said before, what you don't call, you encourage, and that's what happened a couple of seconds ago. Now we're gonna see this coach right here asking the referee what happened to that foul back there. Why didn't you call it? Right? So they're having that quiet word right there. Well, the coach already knew what was happening, right? So again, something to take back home is it's all about perception, right? And depending on how you're being looked at as a good referee or as a bad referee or a cheap referee, lazy referee, your decisions will be taken in different ways. So no card was given here. We have a concussion, but yet the game continue playing and not in, it didn't go to a next level, right? You didn't get too crazy. So just because you got lucky that day, that necessarily means that you did the right thing. So always remember perception, right? It's all about perception. The way they look at you is the way they're gonna be coming back at you. And here the two coaches telling you, yes, I know the other two referees, so I was okay with the decision. I didn't like it, but I was okay. Now, with this referee, if they would have made those decisions, they would have been all over the place. So, final words from Tyler. Anything you want to say between these three videos?
Not really. I mean, I just like hearing conversation. You know, I really appreciate the fact that you guys are out here trying to do this. A lot of people think that, you know, officials, you know, it's the quick little fun paycheck to them, and they always think they're right all the time, and they're not trying to educate themselves, and this, that, and the other. And you know, I just appreciate what you guys are doing. I saw these videos, and I even you know, I into to Ben because he was doing a match. I can't remember if he did the game us against Indiana Wesleyan or if he was doing an Indiana Wesleyan game against somebody else, and I went over to scout the match. But we were talking, and he showed me a video on something that was completely questionable. You know, it was something like you would see on these. And he's like, Tyler, we're talking about this stuff, and it was during a weather delay or something. And he was like, you know, what do you think about this? And you know, it just really intrigued me that there they are trying to educate themselves some more and do things the right way and be the best versions of themselves and just like we always tell our players to do. So you know, I appreciate you guys having me in, and I appreciate what you guys are doing and what you do for the sport. And you know, I think these are three good videos that, you know, like you said, you know, where are you standing, what's going on, what led into certain things. There's a lot of stuff that goes into the decisions that you officials make. It's not just black and white all the time. There's 99% gray and probably most of what you guys call. You know, and I kid around with officials all the time saying, look, every call you make, you're only 50% right because the other coach is upset about it. So, but yeah, I guys, you know, I appreciate what you guys do for sure. I thought this was very important.
We appreciate that. Thank you for stopping by. Alfio, some final words?
I just would like to echo those words from the coach here for what you guys are doing. I just, again, it's we're all human. We all make mistakes. We have to learn from those mistakes and hopefully move forward. Again, going back into the game situation, again, for me, consistency would have to be a key, either in the beginning of the game, the middle of the game, towards the end of the game. Again, being if you make the call from, you know, the beginning and make the same call at the end, or vice versa, you know, again, just to be consistent on the calls, and either way, it could be on my side, on my end, or the opponent, just to have the fair game being called. I think what you guys are doing is tremendous. We're all learning from this. Myself, and I'm sure you or your colleagues are all learning from this. And hopefully things will get better. And hopefully we'll be on the field sometime soon.
That's what we are looking for. We all want to go back. We all want to go back as soon as possible. Ben, couple of words?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to the coaches for helping us out. It's always great having that coaches aspect With the clips, this is good stuff for us to talk about, and I just go back to what Brian had said at the beginning on clip number 1, just being ready. Clip 1, clip 2, and clip 3, being ready. These student athletes and their coaches put so much time and effort into the season that, we owe it to them to be ready. And these are 3 clips that being ready and reading the game, it needs it at this level, and it's great to have the coaches interact with us and to see that we care. There's some of us that do it for a paycheck, and there's others that do it because they love it. And the coaches are the same way, and players are the same way. They do it because they love it. And it's just always striving to be better. And I appreciate what you guys are doing with this. This is, my second week in this, and it's awesome.
Great. No, we appreciate everybody chipping in, because this is what this is all about. It's a beautiful game. We all have different roles, and we need to understand what the roles are, right? And everybody's responsibilities. We can't just go back to the old way of, there is a coach, there is a referee, right? And either you're, you're just a referee and forget about it. You make your decisions. You have the power to make your decisions, and to heck with it. And then you have the coaches that, since they don't let me talk, I need to do what I have to do and behave in a responsible manner. Those days are over. We have different roles, and it is up to us to make sure that the student athletes get the proper education, the proper they get in a good, safe environment, and they get the we all online to make sure that we're still dealing with this student athletes and not just regular players, which is always important. And we need to do this more and more and more. RWISOA had a coaches a session about a month ago. It went very, very well, and it was a little bit different than what we did now. And one thing that I can promise the coaches is I already came up with 6 different clinics that we're going to have for our in-season clinics. So it's all related to all these clips and what we get, what we hear from you guys. So this was not in vain. We really appreciate the fact that you took time off your busy Friday. I know we're all married and we have lives, but you took time off just to share a moment with the referee. So we really appreciate that.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Alfio. Thank you, Tyler. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a couple of questions. So this question is going to be for Brian. I'm going to bring somebody in. Somebody has a question.
Sure.
If you don't mind.
Yep.
See if we can bring Andrew. Andrew, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, it's a technical question. You have a technical question, so I'm going to direct you to Brian Dunn, in case the people that just join us in, just join in. Brian Dunn is the 2019 MLS Assistant Referee of the Year. Andrew, your full name, where you're calling from, and your question, please.
Yeah, Andrew Sharon, and I'm from Virginia, DC, Virginia is where I'm registered. So I just wanted to clarify, because we spent a lot of time talking about that video review situation. I think it was video 2.
Yes.
Talking about the potential offside decision.
Video 1.
Sorry, yeah. And I just wanted to clarify, the rules specifically state that we can determine whether or not a goal has been scored. My understanding is that when we're boiling it down, we're just determining if the ball has crossed the line, not if offside has occurred, not if a foul has occurred beforehand, etc. Is that correct?
We are only allowed to check whether the ball went in or did not, if it entered or did not enter the net. That's the only thing we can check.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And another thing, just let me say it out there. You do need to make a decision. You need to make a decision, right? So you make a decision on the field, and then you review that decision. And since we had it, let's go with the technicality. You signal you stop the clock, you signal for the TV screen, right? And you walk over to the halfway line, you call the coaches, and you tell them what you're going to do. right? Tell them that the decision was a goal or the decision was a no goal. And then you're going to review the decision. And then you review the decision. When you're done reviewing the decision, you come back to both coaches somewhere in the middle of the field and you tell them what the decision was, right? Either it's going to stay as a no goal or it's going to be a goal. So at that moment, you walk down to the field and you signal for the TV screen and you make your decision publicly. But always remember, it's a big difference between the VAR mechanics and video review mechanics. Right? Does that help?
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to clarify because it was good exploring that idea, but I didn't want to get any confusion. I want to make sure anyone who's really interested in that topic, because the rules are different between video review and VAR, I wanted to make sure no one else got lost in the weeds there for a second.
Great
You
question.
got it. Great question. Great question. Anybody else out there? We don't have any more questions, so let's move on. So unless, Brian, you want to say something else, anything else?
No, I just, I'm sorry I look so tired. I was just a little exhausted, and I know I jumped on this call late today. I saw those clips for the first time watching them here, and hopefully I was able to explain some things for the referees about viewpoint and reading the game and decision making. And as I stated in the one clip, and then Dan reiterated the other. In the first clip, the referee looked like, it's 18 seconds, he tuned out. And then the second clip, it was only 35 seconds in. The ref wasn't ready for the match and wasn't ready for a counterattack and got caught off guard. So just make sure as referees that you are ready from the first whistle all the way to the final whistle, because you never know what's going to happen in your matches. Right? Be ready for anything. Call the simple stuff and the games will go easier for you. Miss the simple stuff, the games go downhill fast. Best of luck to everybody.
Great, thank you. Go back to sleep.
Thank you. Have a good night all.
Have a good night. That was Brian Dunn, everybody. Ben, you still with us? You want to say a couple of words before you go home? You can stay.
No, I'll be staying, man. I liked watching. Just fun time. I appreciate the coaches helping out. That's all I got.
Oh, really? You worked so hard today. My goodness. All right, so therefore, let's bring in Dan. Let's bring Dan. Dan, you still with us?
Yes, I am. I'd just like to make sure everybody checks out the website and see our president, Gary Huber, has sent a message out to all the chapters and all the members about some of the activities we're going to be doing over the summer. As some of you may already know and surmise, there'll be no in-person clinics presented by NYSOA, but we have certainly expanded our online offerings. We're going to have some national referee clinics online. We're going to have some clinics available for everybody. But a special note, I want to be sure everybody's fully aware, we are going to do online rules initiation to inform everybody of the new rules or the changes that have been approved by the NCAA. We're in the process of preparing those, and the schedules will be up shortly. Those are going to be free of charge to all members, and we hope you join. We're having them in the mornings, in the evenings, weekends, weekdays. So there'll be plenty of opportunity for that. And one of the reasons we're expanding that is that chapters might have difficulty meeting the 3-meeting requirement. So we're going to waive that for chapters, and members are expected to join our online activities. We will also be providing some online learning for the chapters to present. So maybe if things open up later on, you might be able to have some meetings, but right now we don't know that. So we are trying to be as helpful as we can, providing all these various electronic opportunities for you to learn the new rules and get some additional clinics in. Also, I would just want to note that the fitness test is waived for this year, as people might not be able to get together on various scenarios at this point in time, but we are expecting all the referees to keep that professional mindset and keep themselves in shape, ready to run, and be ready to officiate the level of the games they're assigned and have that professional level of training and that professional level of mental preparedness for all these games. And also, we want to welcome Amanda Ross to the NYSOA board. George Nugame, our Senior Director of Evaluations, has appointed her as the new Program Director for Director of Assessments, and she's already jumping in and hoping you'll see some great improvements in our assessment program, and we just want to welcome Amanda Ross. So the full details of this announcement, again, are on the NYSOA.com website. and a message from our president, Gary Huber. Thank you for giving me a minute or two to remind everybody of this information. Back to you, Rich.
We appreciate that. Thank you for the hard work that everybody's doing out there in NYSOA, executive board, and everybody else. People don't get it. People think that you just log in, you click a button, and you listen to someone talk for 30 minutes and an hour, and that's about it. But people don't understand, and it's the whole work that you need to put into all these clinics, and how long does it really take? It takes a very long time and many people to get this done, and you guys been doing a great job, guys and gals. That's one thing that we always forget. There's so many ladies now doing so much work that doing a great work. So we really appreciate it. Thank you, Dan. All right, let's see if we bring in the next presenter. Unless we have any questions, let's see if we have some questions for Dan. Any questions? Yes, we do have a question. I'm going to read it real quick, so we don't waste any time, if you don't mind. Are you still there, Dan?
Yes, I am.
I don't know if you can answer this question, or you can guide the person. He wants to know about the fitness test. What are we doing with the fitness test? What's the official word?
The official word is going to be waived for this year, but as a high-level referee, you're expected to still meet those standards. The fitness test that we currently approve is listed on our website, but you are expected to train as if there was a test and be ready to do those games and meeting those fitness level requirements. But we understand testing may be difficult in various places to get together and have that close contact and find open tracks and gather as a large group. So we have waived that, but we've only waived it on paper. But in person, you should still be able to meet all those requirements before you go officiate a game. Thank you.
No, thank you. Any other questions? All right, I don't see any questions coming up. Oh yeah, we do have a question, as a matter of fact. Let's see if we can bring her in. We have Nicole Green. See if we can give her access to the mic. Hi, Nicole, you there?
Hey guys, good to catch up with everybody.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for doing these. I was just curious, has NYSOA made a recommendation yet about new members or not being able to get assessments done?
That is a good question. You can email that question to Rich and he'll forward that to me and I will get an answer for you.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
Sorry about that. I didn't know it. I should have. My apologies.
No problem. Thank you for listening, Nicole. Thank you much. We really appreciate it. All right, we'll get Dan, I'll get you Nicole's email so you can forward it to the director of assessments, and we can get that clarified, because I'm sure there are many referees that would like to know about assessments and so on.
I don't know the answer, so, and I'll be here if anything comes up. I'll be listening to Mark. Thanks.
Yep, appreciate it. All right, no more questions. Let's move on. Just a quick reminder. I know we have 3 days left. 2-3 days left. Huntington Disease Awareness Month. Huntington Disease Awareness Month. I'm sorry, my computer just froze. Go to OSI and buy those beautiful HD wristbands. All right, and don't just wear them for 2 days. Wear those the whole year. When you're training, when you're exercising, when you're taking your little girl to the movies, your wife to a restaurant. All right, let's make sure that we show those all the time, all over the place. It's for a good cause. Tomorrow we're going to have our replay, like we always do. Society, the 30th is going to be at 3 o'clock.